Dan doesn't like doing his homework. He constantly has excuses for not doing his work. His mother stands by the doorway, arms crossed, looking worried as she notices his messy room and the untouched homework. In the background, the clock ticks away, highlighting that time is running out for Dan. Instead of focusing on his homework, Dan sits comfortably on his bed, scrolling through his phone with a grin while his school books lay forgotten on the floor. The screen lights up with social media notifications, pulling him further away from his academic duties. Jake, Dan's friend, leans in with a playful grin, proposing they ditch their homework for a session of video games. Their gaming setup is in disarray with controllers everywhere and the colorful game screen lighting up their excited faces. Both boys are completely absorbed in the video game, their faces lit up with excitement and determination as they compete against each other. The room is a mess, littered with empty snack wrappers and drinks, evidence of their long gaming session taking over their study time. Suddenly, a reminder chimes on Dan's phone, causing him to glance nervously at it and realize that his homework is due tomorrow. The realization washes over him as worry fills his face, leaving the game controller forgotten in his hands. In a panic, Dan rushes to his laptop, furiously typing away in the dim light, surrounded by a sea of open books and papers. The chaotic workspace illustrates the urgency he feels as he tries to make up for lost time. The next day in class, Dan's teacher sits at her desk, her expression stern as she surveys the stack of late assignments, disappointment etched on her face. In her hand, she grips a red pen, symbolizing the serious consequences waiting for those who fail to meet deadlines. As the teacher calls Dan to the front of the classroom, he feels anxious under the weight of her serious gaze, knowing that his failure to turn in homework has consequences. The other students watch and whisper among themselves, making Dan feel even more embarrassed as he stands there. The teacher delivers a stern lecture to Dan, emphasizing the importance of responsibility and the consequences of his actions. Her words resonate with him, and a look of regret crosses his face as he begins to understand the gravity of the situation. Returning to his desk with his head bowed, Dan reflects on the teacher's lecture while his classmates focus on their work. His notebook sits in front of him, littered with doodles and empty spaces, symbolizing all the opportunities he let slip away by not completing his assignments. Determined to change his ways, Dan sits at his desk late into the night, immersed in his textbooks and notes, a newfound focus evident on his face. The clock on the wall ticks past midnight, highlighting his commitment to turning things around and not letting opportunities pass him by again. The following day, Dan walks into the classroom with confidence, clutching his completed assignment with pride shining on his face. A close-up reveals his hard work on the paper, meticulously organized with clear handwriting, a testament to the dedication he put into this task. As Dan hands in his completed assignment, his teacher looks pleasantly surprised, a smile crossing her face as she acknowledges his effort. Sitting at his desk, Dan feels a wave of relief wash over him, hopeful that his hard work will finally pay off. With pride in her voice, the teacher announces Dan's successful completion of his homework, capturing the full attention of the class. In response, his classmates erupt into applause and cheers, their expressions filled with encouragement and support for his achievement.